Welcome, let's explore history, news, life, science, knowledge, events, designing, stories, presents, on Trend Story now. December 31st, 2019, started at Wuhan City, China. Start of 2020, the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the whole world. In every country, thousands of infected people and thousands of fatalities. Every week, authorities come up with new rules and measures in order to reduce the spread of the disease, but not in all countries it gives the result. Doctors sound the alarm, urging people to limit their contacts and stay at home to avoid infection and acquiring the fatal diseases. Meanwhile, historians are doing what they love, digging in the past of history. They noticed a strange patterns for every 20th year of the century there is an pandemic of a deadly disease. I have compiled an interesting selection confirming this theory, and events happened on the past. The year 1320 became a symbol of the largest outbreak of the plague, which was called Black Death. The pandemic began in eastern China and gradually reached India, and then spread to Europe, through traders and merchants. The pandemic began in eastern China, and gradually reached India, and then spread to Europe through traders and merchants. It lasted almost 30 years, and the main peak occurred in 1345 to 1355 when half of the population died in Europe. In total, about 70 million people died in the world, which was a quarter of the world population of that time. The year 1420 is described in Russian chronicles as a period of pestilence. At this time, two forms of plague raged in Russia, bubonic and pulmonary. Among the particularly affected cities were Pskov, Gallic, Veliki Novgorod, Kostroma. The situation was complicated by hunger. Because of the high mortality rate, there was no one to remove flour from the fields to make breads. The main food source before the year 1520 is considered the time of smallpox. Scientists suggest that the infections came from Asian countries, and the first cases of smallpox have taken from camels. The virus quickly reached Europe, and over 100 years, almost every inhabitant managed to get this disease. At the same time, Europeans colonized America, and the infection brought with them destroyed entire Indian settlements and destroyed tribes and poor villages. The year 1620 is celebrated in history as the outbreak of the plague in North Africa. This disease is still periodically found in the world. This is especially true for countries with low sanitation. But Algeria was particularly affected that year, losing 30,000 to 50,000 peoples. The year 1720 was marked by the advent of the bubonic plague on European lands. The plague was nicknamed Marseille because the first cases of the disease were recorded in the city of Marseille. The plague claimed the lives of nearly 100,000 French. The year 1820 was outbreak of cholera. This serious contagious disease began in India, but quickly spread throughout the world, covering a huge number of Asian, African and European countries. The pandemic was claiming the lives of thousands of people over the course of 7 years. When the infection subsided and under controlled, the year 1920 is famous as the time of the Spanish flu. Over the 2 years of its existence, about 500 million people have been infected with it, approximately 100 million of whom have died without coping with the disease. This pandemic is the last recorded to be worst, and fatality rate is high. The year 2020 is the latest pandemic recorded up to present. The coronavirus, namely COVID-19, which infect 100 of countries and thousands of deaths and counting. The hit most countries are China, Italy, Iran, United States of America, Russia, Spain, Brazil. Historians rely on history. So in every 100 years, something linked to pandemic. Is it really coincident? Or it's how Mother Earth heals itself? From devastation of humankind, what's your opinion? Thousands of years passed, still we are all the same way before. Lockdown, quarantines, and avoid contacts. Pandemics recorded 3 to 4 years or more until no vaccine. Well, not subsides, yet this modern year still hard for us to find a cure. Thank you for watching on Trend Story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Kindly ring the bell as well, so you'll get notified every time I have new uploads. Thank you.